And then, how many books have you written at this point?
They say it's 40 something.
They say.
Because I don't,
You know,
I don't really know.
that's a lot of work. So 40 something books, tons of people reading your stuff everywhere. And I mean, I've obviously read your stuff before I met you. I mean, and like, what got you into writing? What made you decide I'm not just a clinician, I'm not just gonna help write curriculum, I'm gonna write books, like popular books?
God, I didn't do it. I'm sorry, I did.
It's a good answer. Yeah.
I was, I've always been a little, not a little, I'm kind of a nerd in constructs and concepts and theologies and metapsychologies. And I like to build models. And I was doing a lot of work in organizations. And at that time, I was working with all the leadership of, you know it now as Crew, it was Campus Crusade. And they had 50 something ministries from the Jesus Film and Josh McDowell and Family Ministry and AIA and all of those ministries. And I was kind of like the what a term for it, because I was an outsider, but I was sort of like Bill Bright's chief psychological consultant. In fact, the first time I met him, he said, I got to tell you, I hate psychologists. He said, but
it's a good intro.
Yeah. They tell me you're different. So anyways, I was doing a lot of work in leadership and leadership development and high risk leaders, actually, is where we started with some. And so I had built a model that I was using in what became the clinical system of hospital clinics and hospital inpatient units and treatment centers. But I wanted to develop a model of spiritual growth that resolved emotional problems. Because to me, there was always, you used to have this thing like, if you have an emotional problem, you go see the Christian psychologist. If you got a spiritual problem, you go see the pastor. And they were integrating psychology and theology, which I always thought was a dumb idea. Because there was one creation. This is how we're designed. There was one fall where things started to not work as they were designed. And there's one gospel, there's one redemption. And if the gospel doesn't affect our emotional problems, our relational problems, and our performance problems, then it's not like, do we need another gospel? So it made no sense to me. So I was trying to show how the gospel, Jesus said, I came to seek and to save, which means heal, that which was lost, which means broken beyond repair.
Yeah.
So the gospel should affect all of this. The problem was, in my view, the Christian models that were applied to emotional and psychological problems were sub-biblical at best, B, didn't work very well.
That's a big problem.
Yeah. And C, unbiblical in a lot of ways. And there were 4 basic categories of those. So my mission became to try to show how spiritual growth affects all these areas of life. So, I mean, God should get the credit, right? Not psychology or whatever. So I was building those. Well, I did that, and Crusade asked me, can you make this into a very transferable model that we can train our staff worldwide to use when people they're ministering to have eating disorders, depression, anxiety, addictions, all this. And so I have that, I built that model. And they said, well, is it written down? And I said, well, I don't know. I teach it. No. You mean in a book? They go, I go, no. They said, well, you have to write a book on it.
Yeah, write it.
I said, I can't write a book.
Why?
Because I was a flake. I mean, for me, writing a dissertation was like
super hard, right?
Impossible. I mean, I just, the thought of writing a book was just like, I can't do that. And so Crusade said, well, we have to have a book. So you have to write it. And I said, you did not hear me. I can't write it. I don't know how to do that. And they said, well, we will hire a consultant to help you write the book.
Mm-hmm.
And not a ghostwriter. I would never agree to that. I've never had a ghostwriter. But we'll hire a consultant to help you figure out how to get a book written. And so they did that.
Huh.
And they commissioned my first book, which is Changes That Heal.
Yeah.
And that's how it started.
It starts just because they're like, you got to write this. And you'd already been doing it. So you
I've
just
been
have
teaching
to take
this
it.
stuff
Wow.
a lot. I use it in, John Townsend, I built a system of hospital clinics.
Yeah. Wow.
And we were using all of those models.
And did the writing get easier? So that's hard. Now, at this point, are you like, oh, yeah, I know how to write. I can just lock myself in a room and write till I'm done.
It's easy now.
Okay. Well, we're seeing a pattern.
What was your first sermon like?
I mean, it was amazing. No. It was very, very bad. Actually, it was
no, but was it easy? No.
No, and it was very hard, and it was very bad. Yeah, exactly. So people had to tolerate those for.
But just the process, and what I learned was, it's about a structure of how to do something. And one of the most important words we can have in our lives is structure. The word structure means to build. And we have structures, like a building is a structure, right? But a lattice, for example, that's a structure so the plant grows into the way it's supposed to grow. You structure a broken limb so it grows back. Yeah. And the consultant helped me develop a structure of how to write a book, to get a book from idea to in a book process. And it's basically the same one I use today.